Greetings, friends. This is Tomar Levine from Soul Guidance for Awakening and Soul Guidance for Your Business. And I thought I'd just pop on for a moment because, well, what can I say? The energies are whirling around us in the world, seemingly more and more intense, violent, unpredictable. There's a lot of fear and anxiety in the air, some of it due to what's happening with climate disasters, unexpected, unpredictable ones. Some of them have to do with political fears, dangers, the swirling headwaters coming towards us, charging towards us, the rapids, going over the rapids in a canoe, and no one knows what to predict. Time isn't slowing down for us, is it? It's going faster. I'm at the last day of a month right now, September 2024, as I'm recording. I could have sworn September had just started. I I I mean, I can't be the only one who feels that way. I was already alarmed when August turned into September, and now it's gone. What? What? So I think there is something real. It's not just imagination. Part of it is the speed of the media onslaught, the inundation with changing messages and news cycles, the 24/7 exposure to stimuli from emails and the phone and everything that surrounds us. It gives us no rest. It's kind of like in the olden days, olden days when I was growing up, it was a long time ago. And there was a certain timing and sequence to the news. People would gather around first the radio and then the television for the 6 o'clock news. And my mother would call to my father, "Come on, the news is starting." Can you imagine such a thing? That it was an event? It was an event that you actually had to gather, to witness, to absorb, to explore, to check in and find out what happened in the last 24 hours, which is kind of what it was about. The summary of the day's news happened at a certain time in the evening. And that pace, that regularity, that rhythm was similar to gathering around the dinner table for dinner. Life has seasons, a day has periodicity, rhythms, regulation, partition. The morning is not the same as the evening. The morning is for breakfast and going to work or school. The evening is for returning home, gathering around the table, and maybe watching the 7 o'clock news. But that's all been replaced by rapid fire sequences and rhythms that have been compressed so that what used to be a day is now a minute. And don't think that doesn't affect us, affect our consciousness, our nervous system. We're still inhabiting bodies that were designed millions of years ago for a certain pace of life. This has been all but lost in the culture that we're in, that completely exalts the rapidity of the technologies that we live with now to amplify the pace at which we live and take in information, as though this is not only normal, but a good thing, beneficial, a blessing. In some ways, it is. I love the internet. I love the global outreach. I love a lot about it. But we, like gradually increasing, increasingly rapidly, the rate of change of our life and the cycles of our what we're expected to take in and respond to, and the 360 global reach of what comes to us. So not only, back in those days, there were, maybe 4 television stations or maybe 7. So it's both like a 360 global, it's a 24/7 time inundation, and it's a multi-leveled source of input that's all attacking our consciousness. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. So anyway, that's interesting. I have to unfreeze my videos sometimes. I'm only saying that to express a level of anxiety and a level of stress that is not normal and that has really destabilized our culture. I'm in the United States, but I think it's destabilized all of humanity at this point. So I just want to reach out with some words of empathy and acknowledgement for what you're struggling with, what we're all struggling with, what I'm struggling with, to stay grounded, to continue to feel some connection to nature, community. If you're fortunate enough to have that in your life, family, if you're fortunate enough to have that in your life, a few good friends, if you're fortunate enough to have that in your life. Hopefully there's a tree somewhere nearby. I'm blessed to be living a block from a beautiful park that has kept me alive all these decades, although I live in New York City, that most people consider the megalopolis of the world, or one of them. But I don't live in that New York City. I live in an outskirt of the city, near trees and grass and park and sky and river, institutions of higher learning. It's a little bit like a large college town where I live, and I'm just so grateful. I don't know how I could have survived here otherwise. We all adapt to the circumstances of our lives. That's what humans are known for. That's our genius. The genius of our survival is our adaptability. And so we can adapt. But there's a danger in adapting because we get used to things and take them for normal when they're not, and take them for harmless when they're harmful. And then blame ourselves for when we can't cope or when we can't maintain a positive outlook and a happy mood, when we feel like we're sinking beneath the waves. Sometimes the waves have been flooding the northeast of our country in such a shocking way. So I just wanted to reach out and say, I hear you, and you're not crazy and you're not alone. And we need each other more than ever. We really need any form of community that we can manage to connect to. And we need to co-regulate our nervous systems by being together, not being so alone, and asking for help if we need it. All of the above. We haven't been trained for that. Humans didn't have to ask for help because help was available on every side, because no one lived in isolation. It's antithetical to the human genetics, the human tribal history of how we were designed to be as high-level primates, living in clusters and tribes and groups and extended families, groups of maybe 140 or more or less. Now half the people in this city live alone. surrounded by 4 bare walls. And we wonder why we're anxious and stressed and feel like we're somehow inadequate to cope and make a go of it in this life. We were never supposed to survive alone. That's insanity. Okay, I think I've said enough for this moment. I'll be back soon with more messages from the outskirts of reality. Bye for now. Much love. Any blessings.